This video has been sponsored by Stream Elements, where you can get your own Dragonite hoodies, shirts, mouse pads, gaming cases, mugs, everything right here. All of it's in the link description below, and I'd be much obliged if y'all come ahead and buy a merchandise. If not, it's okay. Just want to let you know, this video has been sponsored. Did you know that Maximo 3, actually, or mostly Maximo was trying to do, has its own thing, but apparently it didn't, and this is a closed beta. This was way before that, probably that Maximo 2 didn't have a good sales. So yeah, basically this is a little bit of tip clips, which is shown right now, is basically how Maximo 3 was supposed to be, but due to canceling, yeah, this is what happened. So I just want to show this. Greetings, my Dragonites, Dragonborn. This is Dragonite here, aka Dragonborn, and welcome to Maximo versus the Army of Zen, or some may know as Ghost of Maximo 2, which is the prequel to, as we, well, right now, Ghost to Glory, which is basically the first one, and of course the second one, which is at least part of a spin-off of Ghosts, Ghouls, and Goblins. And basically, this is, and hopefully y'all, before this clip, at least, probably before this clip, I probably end up, talking about, Maximo 3, the beta, and of course, that video is in the link description below. Please follow and let them know that Dragonite Dragonborn has sent you there, because at least that way people know there was supposed to be a third one, but sadly it's been cut through, well, success, which I'll probably end up mentioning, in the video sometime. And I hope you all enjoy this, at least me talking, rambling and stuff. And of course, I hope you all really do enjoy Maximo, at least my review of Maximo Goes to Glory. And of course, as you know, if you hear, the really good sound, or at least, that, the sound effect, that means I give my highest rating, or my great rating. But if it's, it's meh, pretty okay, it's meh, at least okay, so you get that sound. But if it's the worst sound, then you probably already know. So, but anyways, I just wanted to get that out of the way, and I'm sorry this took a little bit long too. So, but anyways, enough of me rambling, it's right over here. As usual, from the previous of Maximo Ghost of Glory, now we have Ghost of Glory there I go again. Maximo versus the Army of Zen, which is, like I said, to the second prequel. Now, I mean, it's a sequel of the first game, which I was trying to say. And yes, sorry, I'm using the exact same clip here that I actually have done from at least from the other hoardings I actually done. But, just wanted to show you this. Now, the story of Maximo is the story of the game that follows up, from Maximo Goes to Glory, and Maximo and following his love, Sophia, which was, well, as we know from the first game. He is at it again from the last game, but was searching but they sadly been interrupted with new enemies in the series known as chemical creatures, who attack from the village and start any village folk, slaughtering in any village folk that are new enemies called the armies, and the old ancient army powered by the lost souls that was supposedly be locked into the vault of Castlemore about 500 years ago in the battle. Which is, if you did pick it up and actually have played a little bit more, there's a cutscene. Sadly I forgot to pick that up, I recorded and stuff. So yeah, that's what I wanted at least to mention. But of course, you and Graham are basically together, which is, I guess, from the last game, as starting a new friendship. Well, here you go. So yeah, that's gonna be another thing. And of course, but we're gonna have to fight a new enemy, new boss, which is quote unquote a newer boss, and some other ones too on its way as well. So at least that one can clearly say, so new game, new a new enemy, and some two beginning loving friends from the first game now into this one. So yeah, and now some new phrases, new enemies, new protagonists, and stuff like that. So that is also pretty cool. And of course, Maximo will meet his new friends too, which hopefully was supposed to be picked up from the third game, but sadly could no longer be. So, but this happened 500 years before Maximo started his journey, and even before when he was a kid, in the case. So, at least I can say. But of course, right 5 years later, they started to search for Sophia, but sadly, no luck. But yeah, so but surprisingly, there's been any souls into the underworld lately because, well, due to the artifacts in that may be a cause of it. So, but there are going to be some cool new things as usual, as new swords and new weapons. Of course, now with at least brand new technology too. That's what not technology, but some other things, which is actually pretty cool too. So that one, at least I'm gonna say it's really cool. Now there are gonna be some new layouts and some new, just some new things in general. So this is pretty cool. So I can literally say, at least for the story wise, in this game, to me personally, it does feel a little bit better. Now, is it more driven? Now, what I was trying to say is, this game feels a little bit more story driven more than from the first game. So I just wanted to end up mentioning that because it definitely does feel like it's been more story related, story based. And yeah, there are some new abilities, new abilities, new kind of new weapons, but same sword, same underwear that you probably end up running around, and of course, as you can see right now, the golden armor, which is from, well, if you play Ghosts, Ghouls, and Goblins, then you know it's like this one. But the reason why I like this one better, in my personal opinion, is because you can keep the golden armor, except for being invincibility. And of course, there are some merchants, like this one right here. As you see, he sells armor, trinkets, shields, and scrolls, which if you're going to completionist, definitely pick up as soon as you can. And of course, that's going to be nothing that also costs money. And of course, now with this game, you can get, there are some more secrets around here. So that's going to be, and that is also cool as well. Now the gameplay. The gameplay definitely does feels like at least a lot better in this. In my personal opinion, a lot better. And of course, as you can see right here, it's basically, if you can see on the right or left hand, and if you see that skull, basically it's a grim meter. Now, this one actually helps out a lot, and I gotta say it definitely improves. But if you ask me personally, mostly in my personal opinion, is that if you definitely get Grim, he's overpowered. Like, of course, this is the Grim Reaper. He's basically almost invincible. But of course, he lasts a short amount of time. It's like 5 or 10 seconds later. But you definitely upgrade it, which is another merchant right here, which is the old man. I forget his name, but he sells the weapons upgrades, the shield meter, which you actually pick up, which is another effect in here. But it's mostly, I can say for myself, interesting. At least you don't have to worry about your durability anymore. From the first game, that's a major plus, because I'm gonna be straight. That was annoying just to get. I mean, even alone to use, because it was like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to use this and get the shields and stuff, which is in present. But sadly, no massive sorrow. So, but anyways, there are a couple times in this gameplay that you might end up seeing too, is that Maximo can now, at least in this game, can like hook his weapon to like a cliff or something, but it can't be at at a advantage or at an angle because it won't work. If it's like flat, he can jump up and improve. Now I wish this was in the first one, but again, they were trying to see how things are, and that kind of makes sense. So, and of course, the only two new weapons are basically, is the Flaming Tongue and the Bleak Forge, which is an ice hammer. If you remember from the first game, it's like the Frost Sword and the Fire, or Purple Fire as much too, but they kind of made it more into weapons. So, but yeah, and of course, to upgrade, your shield meter and your grim meter, which is the blue, which grim is, technically being grim, he needs souls to power up. You need the souls, which again looks like fairies, if you ask me. I don't really get it. And of course, these, these NPCs definitely help you, but they gotta give you money as resource. They tell you what it is, but they also give you a lot of hints. So that's a major plus in this game. So I can literally say that in my way. But now, as you can see, like this combo meter, it's, to me, I don't know if they got inspired by Devil May Cry, or like these, like, oh yeah, make your combos and then you can see how far you go. I only gotten to heroic one time, and from there on it was like, nope. So that was basically it. But again, I don't know if that was basically like its own, got Spyro or the case is. So that was kind of cool. But again, maybe it is. Now the Grim tokens is your health meter, which I gotta say thank you, because that was annoying to collect all the hearts, which it will be maxed out. Then you had to collect, the Grim Reaper tokens from the first game. Now, this game is like, no, we're going to just make the Grim, the Grim tokens more, basically to help you out, to help you run, and help you, stay in a little bit longer. So that's also another thing, cool thing too, if you ask me, is that they recommend, to do the, to have this ability, to that way it will be your own, like, oh yeah, about that one life meter. That was my major complaint in the first game too, I think some people say. So it's really cool though. So, but yeah, even alone, just Maximo 2 or Maximo versus the Army of Zen, if you hear me keep calling him Maximo Ghost of Glory, because I got Maximo Ghost of Glory stuck in my head. So sorry about that. So, in major improvements from this game, I can literally say is I'm really grateful that they have at least worked out. But the story, some people may say it has some flaws, but it's one of them I'm going to point out. It's like Sophia. Yeah, she was mentioned in the beginning, because where Grim talked and how about that stuff is. Then to the later, then it's like, oh yeah, we're trying to look for her again. Maximo 1 did it. Now I don't see why people are doing this here too. I'm just sorry. I don't get that. And of course, the scar. Maximo had a scar 1. And, of course, in this game, that, it's been shown here, too, Of course, it's mostly a little bit loose ends and, main new characters that we have met. Now, if you ask me, I think this was mostly towards gameplay. And, of course, here's me fighting a brute. But I think in the game's called Bruce. And that is also pretty cool, too. I gotta let her say. So, but yeah, it's just... I had to redo what I did last time, because technically I did, like, oh shoot, I accidentally deleted it, and then had to redo it again, and then of course, again it was like, oh, I had to pick things back up again, except for just like configuring the bind on the controller, which, as you can see right now, is, well, as we see. So, but it's still a good game in general, if you ask me. It's been fun. And, of course, the scrolls, if anybody is a completionist, you want to collect all of them. Of course, I haven't collected all of them, because there were some levels that were so frustrating to me, so annoying, and just in general, I didn't have much fun of it. So yeah, it was just really briefly annoying. And now the traveling system, it was actually a little bit better in this one too, since I'm thinking about it. Except for going like, okay, I need to spend a little bit more here, and then like, okay, then I can travel or save. Now in the game, you can actually save now. You can actually make your own save progress. And which is also cool is that you can, except for like spending money to save or travel, you can actually buy the abilities now. Which, as you know, well, from this gameplay as you're seeing right now, it is like, oh well, yeah, I actually did have it all. I just had to upgrade my Grim Mirror for one last time, but then since I had to uninstall and reinstall and I had to do everything again, I didn't think about, made a boo-boo. So yeah, but then in later of the video, you will end up seeing me having basically everything now. Now, the other thing is too, the Shield of Midas, it doesn't always detect it like in the first one, as you all saw that a little bit, you know, in this video here, is because I think it was in the radius, or it's like in that frame, like it has to pop out, then the Shield of Midas comes in, which is another ability from the first game. Now there are some other the abilities from shields and, you know, mostly the weapons from the first game is here. But they also made it for the hammer too, which was also pretty cool, if you ask me. And honestly, I think in general that Maximo 2, as at least some would call that, it is a good game. Now, of course, if you see me like hanging right here, this is what I was talking about. Is because it's a good grab ability, except for like kept dying over and over trying to make a jump for some bloody reason that didn't want me to make it. Now it's like, see, like right here, like I'm hovering right before the fire, and then it's like of course the sword, which is Priscilla, if I remember correctly, from Priscilla, which is Maximo's default weapon, which we didn't know from the first game, is in here. But now there are some other ones in here too, so that's also pretty cool. So, but anyways, but there are some other, and of course, if you remember the regular boxer ones, they're in here too. But except for now, these other ones do really good, which is, you know, the heart ones. I think we all know has no defects. But there's a armored boxers, which is just like from the ability of the first game, which is called, if I remember correctly, it is called more armor. But, you know, it's like like an anvil and a hammer. And I think y'all probably know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, that's basically the thing is like, oh, yeah, here you go before you get the golden armor. But it's like a little bit its own thing. Now, there is a treasure boxers, which, now, if you definitely have a controller and you're playing this on original PS2, you'll feel a vibration from treasures. Now, of course, for me, I was using a guide, and except for at least a little bit of an area that I kind of did on my own, I actually had to look up a guide, and of course, you can call me a cheater, but it still helps out. Now, there is a magic power meter, which is from the first game, but what I actually seen from when I was testing it, it was mostly towards like this, like, oh yeah, you know, about this idea and, you know, about, you know, recharging. But according to my notes, it says if not wearing armor, but it's actually boxers of burning Igor. That's when it charges a lot, recharge and generates. And I got those two mixed up, because when I actually tried it with just the PAL boxers, it definitely generates, but I think it's with the attacks. Speaking of that, if you have Maximo's boxers, and of course I'll probably end up showing like, okay, boxers, you know which one it is or whatever the case is. But anyways, if you can do a separate trick, you can still keep the golden armor. It's like, oh, I want to switch to my treasure trout boxers, then, but you keep the golden armor. But once you found it, you switch it back to the armored boxers, which I actually tend to do, and it's actually pretty cool. But of course, an emulator doesn't feel that as any case, because that's just mostly it. It just never felt that way. Now there is armor, which is the standard armor from the first game, which I think everybody knows. It's just without the helmet. Now the helmet, if I'm remembering correctly from the helmet, it is in the original. But if somebody can correct me wrong, if in the comments below, because if I remember correctly, it's the same one, but but I'm not positive that it is, it is, if it is the first one or not. But I know that in the second game, the golden armor has more of a red more than the black, because the black hair, horsehair, if I remember correctly, because that's what they use in Roman Greeks. It's that, oh yeah, they definitely did use this, horsehair. So, and that's kind of switched up. So I guess they say, well, we don't want to make the golden armor, just like the first one. So yeah, sadly. So that's what at least from what I can definitely tell. And of course, the shields, I think we know Maximo's iron shield. And as you see, here's me gathering much as, what I was mentioning before, because it's here. And of course, this is the merchant that sells more of the weapons and abilities that you need to pick up from the game. But the iron shield is the default of Maximo's, which I think we know. Silver shield is an upgrade to the iron, but I was thinking, because it was like Maximum 1, it didn't carry that over didn't carry that one all the way over. Now, the golden shield is the exact same thing, but again, you need by the shield meter, which it will be your, if you make the combos, it will upgrade and it will generate, your shield meter, because these abilities use shield meter for some reason. I don't really know. It's just kind of weird, if you definitely ask me. So, but yeah, that's just me in general, cause it's just, I don't. Before I forget, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the shield on the golden shield like the Hawkmoor symbol, or is it just Maximo's one? Because I don't know, I just found that a little bit interesting, so I just wanted to mention that. So after 500 years later, we begin to open the vault right after we freaking made sure that the Baron actually understands. So this is where this cutscene will be played.
For 500 years, the world has feared what lies within this vault.
The time for fear is over.
And here's the body of Morgan, where he died.
Elizabeth! Elizabeth! Bane! Get your hands off of her!
Come, my sin. Take your revenge. Tear them to pieces and take their souls. Show no mercy.
And here's basically one of the spots as in my personal opinion, where you definitely need to have your upgraded meter, because this is one of the spots that's basically that, like, yeah, if you have like that beginning bar, then you probably won't last here. Now the other problem is with at least something like this, or at least a escort type of thing, ally missions, I'm sorry, it just, to me, it doesn't feel right, and even alone don't work correctly. Because most of these guys, they feel like paper most of the playtime. It's like, if you can see, at least in a couple of, spots right over here, or where the case is, it is that, like, oh yeah, you can take a lot of damage, and even later, probably end up showing it right now, is basically where alone, like, that, he almost died, and if he's dead, then you're gonna have to restart everything again. Well, lucky there's at least from Maximo 1, I mean Maximo 2 or Maximo Goes to Glory, is that he definitely, I mean, they actually definitely give you a checkpoint. So, and that's really helpful too. And that is, at least in my personal opinion, helps out a lot. Because at least ever dying and going to the first level, that will be very annoying. And if I remember correctly, it's also, you know, that, and it's also its own thing, you know. And as you can see here, he almost died. And of course, so, and here's another problem that is actually coming up. Just hearing him kept doing this. So yeah, and here's that clip right now. So enjoy hearing this the whole entire time when you try to escape. Yeah, freaking listening to this dude keep saying this all over again, or keep telling you to hurry up. This annoys the hell out of me. Every single time he has to repeat this freaking line. Dude, I know. Shut up! I know, we need to hurry out. Shut up already! So yeah, so that's basically what it looks like. If he dies, you die with him. So, I mean, well, technically, well, Maximo falls to his feet. So, yeah, but this is the second time that at least I can say now, is basically that mostly right now it's just basically it's a pretty good game. Well, but yeah, these gonna be, at least from what I remember, there's two. One right here, which is the Baron, which I doubt why you even come close to that. And then another one, which is going to be coming up here, too. So, yeah, it's just, it was okay. So, at least these missions are definitely okay, if you definitely ask me. So, but yeah, and here comes another one, which I'm end up showing right now.
Tinker!
Maximo! Lord Bane forced me to finish his dirty work. When I was done, he said he had no further use for me. He said he was going to kill me. Oh, Maximo, I'm sorry for everything I've done.
Look, that's all in the past. If we're gonna get out of here alive, I'm going to need your help. You understand their technology better than anyone.
No, you don't understand. I made them better. Different.
What do you mean? How?
I based them on the ultimate warrior. You!
Oh.
Meet the second part, which is basically with Tinker. Now, with this one's actually pretty easy, at least I can say. At least for myself, it's just, at least if you can stay with her and stay close to her, she'd be alright and stuff. Now, of course, Tinker, aka the Gear Master, she was pretty deduced, but she was, as you probably will know, was in the very beginning cutscene. Even Maximo was like, do I know you? Of course you know her. This is freaking, you should at least know her as the one that asked for your request of saying help me. So, but yeah, so, and of course, at least I can say there's gonna be a little bit of shit, but I don't know if Gamecom did this or what, but yeah. But this area, at least this one, was so annoying. I kept dying to this part many times. Oh, it infuriated me. But of course, and as you see here, this is the other weapon, which is this Bleak Forge, which is the Ice Hammer. And of course, if you remember from the first game, which is, well, the Ice Weapon. And of course, now, as you can see here, Maximo's clones are wielding swords and hammers, which technically this was like, alright, you should already at least know this by now. It's like, you already should at least have the hammer or weapon by now. And what's so interesting that they definitely have it all the way to, it's like, oh yeah, you know, it's basically like your own default. So maybe it's just that Lord Bane didn't have something, or whatever the case is. So maybe not. I don't really know. I just want to at least mention that because it was a little bit interesting. Because I was thinking, well, if it was the army of Zen, then why didn't give, well, at least Tinker here, the weapon, a better proper weapon. And of course, she heads up, which she does has her own thing, and the rest of here is basically you're on your own, and But for anybody who can play this game, you probably, if you're a completionist, this might take you a little bit longer, but there are going to be some other ones, like, probably if you're a casual, you probably beat it maybe in a day's worth. Yeah, Maximo 2, or Maximo versus the Army Sin, is a very short game to compare to its own other one, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, I just want to at least mention that.
We need to find a way out of here.
Get in the shell, big boy.
Hey!
Lock and load.
Oh, great.
Now that was a ride. No!
See how well you have guarded the vault? Now it is your fate that is sealed.
Hey, Buckethead! Why you picking on him? I'm the one who wiped out your army and put your soul crusher out of business.
I will so love killing you.
And as any typical, like, if you played like original Maximo game, it's just simple like, okay, keep attacking, avoiding, stuff like this. Now this is it. This is your moment. This is now or never. This is no turning back. Basically, you're facing the Zen himself, or Zen. Oh, and by the way, if you don't want to get spoiled, I probably should pulling it up there, but yeah. Right now, this won't be spoilers, but, or at least for me, won't be. But right now, this is gonna probably end up being spoilers right here. So please skip it, to the end. This is your warning, so that way you don't get spoiled. And as you can see right there, if you do hard attacks, he can show up that, that soul thing, or the press down soul. Just attack that, with Grim or Maximo. And so that way he does a little bit more, get a little bit more vulnerable. And he does this tack invade, so, which, into the next fight, which is a little bit more harder.
I command you to die!
So yeah, basically this is what happens. Now, if you don't kill him in an amount of time, he's going to end up regenerating health and stuff, and you might end up having a little bit of bad time. I also forgot to mention that into the other, part 2, but yeah, now he's going to be more powered up than last time, but if you know the traditional patterns from the first time, then yeah, you might end up doing it really well. So yeah, but this is phase 2. Phase 3 is where you fully attack the true protagonist, the one that's been calling the shots behind. Now, this one was annoying me because technically I was so cornered by them, and of course he kept shooting his bolts at me, so I'm like, this is so annoying. So yeah, and I'll probably end up and of course, again, spoilers right now if you don't want to get spoiled from phase 3, which is, well, I felt more sure when I'm at him showing it. So there. So yeah, just do what you did from the first time then until he's finally over. Hey look, the final boss in the entire game.
Achille?
Yep,
Curse
Achille.
you, Maximo. Once again, you've ruined my plans with your heroic meddling. It's a shame your little friend will pay for your treason with her life.
No!
I thought we whacked this guy already.
Yeah, it's getting hard to keep score.
What do you say we take him out?
Let's do it!
Now, as you can see why I say he was mostly a shoot-horn. This felt like very weak and felt like a very last thing. And most importantly, yeah, it wasn't. I'm sorry, it didn't feel that much threatened to me. It's like, wow, like he came back with vengeful spirit, but it felt like a last moment. Now, according to Achille, and if you didn't spoil this, so now you know, he's in his soul form. So basically, the thing is, he has all this soul, so that way he can stay alive. But you can use Maximo, which you definitely need, and Grim to fight him one off. And of course, I end up dying here because I totally forgot what you gotta do with the shield thing, as you see right here. So, but yeah, this is basically the Achille, the true final boss. So yeah, and it was really, really, really annoying just to see this through. And I'm just sorry. It's like, as you've seen right here, it's just like tack, tack, tack. Oh, fade, fade. Okay, coming back. So the best way of doing this is get your Grim meter all the way up, at least as much as you can, so that way you come in there and whacking them. Even if you're in Grim form, if you have enough, you know, just enough Grim meter, there we go, like I was trying to say, then you'll be okay. And heck, even Achille, he was easy to go down in one shot, more than anything. So yeah, it's just, I'm sorry, this one just felt like it was the last resort. So, but yeah, I just want to end up, you know, mentioning that.
A fitting end for his kind.
Grim, you gotta bring her back.
Her soul is in really bad shape.
Please, Grim, there must be something you can do.
This may sting a bit. A piece of your soul may make hers whole.
What happened?
You're gonna be okay. Everything's all right now.
Hey, buddy. You still have to find Sophia.
And you will need the help of your friends.
Then we'll search for her together.
Okay, I've been thinking about where Sophia might be. We know she's not in the underworld, so what if we go to hell? No, I ain't going to heaven, that's for sure.
If you remember from the first game, you know, you get this little cute cutscene. Well, this is basically it. But now we're going to end up seeing from, well, mostly Grim himself. So yeah, that was Maximo versus the Army of Zen. My final thoughts of it, yeah, the gameplay was good. It was excellent, more than anything, if you ask me. And mostly, it was, if you ask me, this was definitely a perfect game just to even alone pick up and start. You know, if you did it after. And the gameplay, it definitely improved from the first game. It definitely alone did an excellent job from the last game. The story can probably be worked a little bit more, but again, there's still some other things that I can literally say it must have been worked. And here's something that I thought was kind of cute in this cutscene, that as you can probably end up seeing right now. It's like, you know, that cutesy little thing, and then you see these enemies go on by. It's just really good. And here's one of them right here. So, but yeah, in my personal opinion, it's just that I think Maximo Ghost of Glory should at least get definitely a most important, like, and Maximo Ghost of Glory and Maximo versus the Army of Zen. I personally think it should get its own remastered, and heck, who knows? It might even alone just be its own. Probably will have its own, have its own mastery. Maybe this game can get its own thing too. But that in mind, and here's basically my final score. There were 26 deaths. Ugh, that was a freaking annoying. 14 abilities collected, 5 bosses defeated, 19 levels that are at least 99%, 20 skulls collected. Total hours of playtime was 15 because I had to add it from the next one. And of course, this is what it shows from the last time that, well, at least you can probably end up seeing right now of my scores. So yeah, I at least want to mention at least that. So I hope you. So this is just my own personal scores. Alright, after all that freaking, after all that rambling, talking, and stuff, I just want to end up, at least mentioning my final thoughts on the idea. Now, there was going to be some things that I kind of figured out, some may not like, some may do, but still, in my personal opinion, at least I can say for myself, yes, there was some issues, as I probably ended up addressing in the video, and on how much it is, and sadly, yeah, we may never seen the, Max, well, maybe not, but maybe at least a review, not a review on an actual Maximo 3, but not the way it is in the beta. Maybe Capcom maybe end up releasing, at least Maximo 3, maybe probably before, right after, if there was going to be review, not review, of a remaster of these two old games, and yeah, I probably can see it, because look at Crash Bandicoot. Alright, enough after that's been said. My final thoughts of Maximo versus the Amazon, hoard it! Alright, my Dragon Knights and Dragon Wars, I hope that y'all at least enjoy, my Maximo Ghost of Glory review, and as always, if you like what you saw, please burn that like button. Also, if you didn't like what I saw, hit thumbs down for a reason, which is okay. Cancel that subscribe button to join the family of Dragon Knights and Dragon Warriors. Comment and share, and don't forget to click down that bell and turn on notification all. Turn it and click all, so that way you never ever miss another video hitting your way. I can literally say I hope that y'all at least enjoy my review of Maximo Ghost and Glory, and sadly it had to end right here. And as always, my Dragon Knights and Dragon Warriors, this is Dragon Knight here, aka Dragonborn, saying out, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Farewell for now, my Dragon Knights and Dragon Warriors.